Good Friday. Today is Friday, April 3rd, 2026. News from around the world.
The UN force in Lebanon has said that a blast wounded 3 of its peacekeepers in the south of the country, 2 seriously. It's the 3rd such incident in a week, with 3 peacekeepers killed in 2 separate explosions of unknown origin in recent days. Israeli forces pushed into southern Lebanon a month ago as part of a wider offensive against Iranian-backed groups like Hezbollah. Over 1 million people have been displaced from their homes because of Israeli strikes, according to the United Nations. Israel says it is targeting Hezbollah and its infrastructure. Lina Sinjab has more from Beirut.
Another bloody day in Lebanon's war. Today, an unannounced airstrike attacked a mosque in the western Bekaa, killing 2 people and injuring 11 as they were leaving the Friday prayer. And today is also the Good Friday for the Christians, but thousands of Christians in the south who are trapped in areas that are now under the control of the Israelis are hard to celebrate, and they are living under war. They are among thousands and tens of thousands who refused to leave and said they will stay in their villages and town even if they will die. Israel has cut all the routes to the north, and it continues fighting Hezbollah in the south of Lebanon. And after the announcement that they will take control of big swathe of the south, there are concerns by the government about a possible occupation for the south. The Prime Minister Nawaf Salam came out yesterday addressing reporters after a cabinet meeting, saying a month has passed on the war, saying we've tried all efforts to seek diplomatic means, but condemned also the violations of Lebanon's sovereignty, of the territorial integrity by Israel's occupation of the south. He stressed that the only way forward is through a political solution, a diplomatic solution, but also feared that this is a prolonged war and is going to cause a long-term displacement crisis in the country.
Now, for more on that attack on UN peacekeepers, my colleague Katrina Perry spoke earlier to Candice Ardial, spokesperson for UNIFIL.
Well, today we had an explosion in one of our positions near Edesse, and 3 peacekeepers were injured. One injury is fairly minor, but 2 peacekeepers were seriously injured. They were taken to hospital. They have undergone or are in the process of undergoing surgery, but it appears that they will make it, that they will stabilize. Their colleagues have actually gone to the hospital to donate blood just to make sure that they will have what they need, but we're optimistic and hopeful that they will make a full and fast recovery.
And did this strike happen in the same region as the 2 earlier in the week?
It's in the same general area, yes, a few kilometers away. This is a very contested area right now. We're seeing active fighting between Hezbollah elements and the Israel Defense Forces all around. And so we can't say, we don't know what the origin or the nature of the explosion is at this point. This will be investigated, just as the 2 earlier incidents, 2 fatal incidents that we had earlier this week will be investigated. They are being investigated. But yes, this is a very challenging area right now, and the peacekeepers who are there, the brave peacekeepers who are continuing to monitor and report what's happening, are unfortunately caught in a very violent and very difficult situation.
Can you tell us about what they are doing there as well? Because obviously they're attempting to keep the peace, although that's not possible at the moment, but they have a humanitarian role as well.
Indeed, at this moment, there is no peace. We monitor the cessation of hostilities. The hostilities have not ceased. They have returned, and we see active fighting on the ground, also in the air through projectiles and airstrikes and things like this. Nonetheless, peacekeepers have an important role. We're an impartial monitor and reporting mechanism. So we see what's happening on the ground. Even if we can't get out there and patrol like we used to, we can still see quite a few things from our positions, like the ones that were hit this week. We have watchtowers and things like this, so we can see what is happening. And so this is something that's important because we are the only impartial actor on the ground who is reporting what is happening to the Security Council. As peacekeepers, we don't have a huge humanitarian role, but of course, when civilians are in imminent danger, we step in to help where we can. And we also are playing a role in facilitating the transport of humanitarian aid to areas in the south where civilians still remain. So we coordinate between both the Lebanese and Israeli sides to ensure there are no misunderstandings about the nature of these goods that are coming into the south. So that's something that we do as well.
And are the locations of the peacekeepers made known to Israel and Hezbollah at this time?
Indeed, yes. Our positions are very well known. We've been here in South Lebanon for almost 50 years. People on both sides of the blue line know where we are. Our positions are quite visible, painted white, and they're familiar with the locations where we are, yes.
So how do you explain 3 incidents this week which have seen such catastrophic injuries and, of course, 3 peacekeepers losing their lives?
Indeed, this is very shocking and a very difficult week. And these are questions that the investigations will seek to answer. We do know that there is active fighting in these areas. There are projectiles that are being launched back and forth between the two sides. Even at our headquarters here in Naqoura, in the past week or so, we have seen a number of projectiles, explosions, and bullets hitting our camp. So when conflict is happening, as much as people may think that there are technologies and we should be quote unquote good at war fighting, we know that things are not always accurate. Mistakes can be made. But of course, intention, whether this was a deliberate act or any of these were a deliberate act or not, these will all be part of the investigations. And this is why we're very careful. We have our technical experts and our analysts to make sure that when we do these investigations, we get the answers right.
And speaking of those investigations, do you have any information yet as to the origin of any of the bombs used in the strikes this week?
We don't as yet. Those are all parts of the investigation. And again, we want to be very careful to make sure before we make any comment on it that we get it right. Because we have to continue to work with the parties. Despite the difficult situation, we work with the Lebanese and Israeli armies, and we need to get this right to ensure that we can maintain credibility and trust, to make sure that we can continue working with them throughout this terrible conflict period, but also afterward when eventually we'll see a cessation of hostilities again, that we can help stabilize that and work with the parties to do that.
How does what you're seeing at the moment in terms of the hostilities compare to what you've seen in the last few years?
Well, of course, in 2023 and then especially in 2024, we saw a rapid escalation. We are seeing a great deal of violence now on the ground. In 2024, our positions were hit quite a few times, dozens of times, in fact, and we had a number of injuries. I believe it was over 40. And fortunately, these were relatively minor. This time, of course, we haven't seen the number of injuries, but the injuries that we have seen have been much more severe. We have had 3 fatalities this week, which is absolutely devastating. 3 brave Indonesian peacekeepers who came to South Lebanon to work in support of stability and peace lost their lives doing so. And we're devastated by this. But nonetheless, it's a really challenging time for us, and we're continuing to try to, in their memory, continue this work.
To Ukraine now, where at least 6 people were killed.
Please pray for the peacekeepers and pray for peace throughout the entire world.